I just had my CAT scan. What a wild experience that was. You like go into this like round machine. You're laying flat and there's like lasers and things. First of all, I almost feel like I've gotten a CAT scan before, like a long time ago. I don't remember what for, but I definitely have gotten a CAT scan before because I remember like that feeling of being in that machine. Like I felt like we were about to take off and literally go to space. So for me personally, I would go to Mars. Here's what I have to say about CAT scan day part 2. I feel so much better about like everything right now, because even though like I'm being checked for, you know, lymphoma and whatever, it doesn't mean that I necessarily have it. And what I now know is that, you know, first of all, you should always follow your physician's orders. So my physician, my new physician that I'm seeing now, he put on the order to have me go in without contrast. The fact that the technician made the decision that I needed contrast dye, even though the physician had put no contrast for my order, is just really wild. And thank God for my girlfriend, Brooke. Brooke, life saver, dude. I love you so much. Thank you for calling me. So my girlfriend Brooke calls me. She's an RN. She's a nurse. She might be a level above RN now. I don't know. Brooke, don't kill me. I love you. But she's a bomb-ass nurse. And she really cares about what she does. Like she takes her job very seriously, clearly, and is very knowledgeable. And she cares about the patients that she's treating. And so when she saw my video, you know, and heard that this technician at the radiologist's office suggests that I have my CAT scan done with contrast dye, and I also ordered me to drink barium. I believe I kept calling it barium in my last video, and it's definitely barium. Barium. The fact that she like just made her own decision to tell me, no, you can't come in today, you know, you need to get this done with contrast and barium, is really wild. Because here's my take, right? The whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing right now and talking about so much of my health is because I want better treatments. I want organic treatments. I want regenerative medicine in the future. It's very expensive. I've talked about it in my previous videos. I can talk about it a little bit more in depth if you guys want me to do that. But bottom line is, I am not for being treated with biologic chemicals and toxic medicine for the rest of my life. It makes this much sense. None. Zero. Okay? And this is my feeling now at this point in time. When you are in an emergency situation, if you are sick, if you are flared, or, you know, you're in very bad shape, you should 100% do whatever you're ordered to do. And I'm not giving medical advice, like, at all. I'm not a doctor. You do what your doctor tells you to do. Always. But if you do not feel like you are getting better, you should take a second and analyze that. Really pay attention to what your body is telling you. And go back to your doctor and communicate with them that you're not feeling good. Something is still not right. And if they dismiss you, then you should go for a second opinion. Go talk to another doctor. Basically, contrast dye is very, very, very toxic. It is a heavy metal, and heavy metals are not good for the human body. If you have certain genetic dispositions that make it difficult for your body to detoxify in a way that a healthy person's body would detoxify, you should definitely take into consideration what your genetic makeup is, what condition you've been diagnosed with before, and listen to your gut. So my girlfriend calls me last night, like 10 p.m., like getting ready to go to bed. And the next day I was preparing to start drinking this barium. It's basically like an inside cleanse, and then, but like not in like a super healthy way. Like barium is not healthy. It's It's not healthy, period. So it's not an organic substance. It's not healthy. Don't let anybody lie to you and say that it is. My girlfriend says to me, Brooke, she's a nurse. She's like, why would this technician just tell you straight up, like, oh, you need this with contrast, even though your physician ordered it without? Like, she said she is completely out of her scope. Like, she's way out of her scope. That's like basically totally inappropriate for her to make that call. That's not her call. She said it's your physician's call. And it made me feel so relieved to hear Brooke say this, because I was like shook. I mean, hello, you see me in my other vlog, like hot ass mess. Like, whoa, sis, not doing good, not happy about it. Like, I'm already like, wow, I was just on Rinvoq, a biologic, for a year and a half. Then I was abruptly cut off of that and then put on steroids, which is also extremely aggressive and not healthy for you. And now I'm having to take contrast and barium. Like, so yeah, thank God for Brooke. So Brooke was like, you need to 100% like call your physician first thing in the morning, like ask him his opinion, and then go back. So, you know, the radiologist, the technician at the radiologist office told me that she was going to contact my doctor and, like, you know, double check with him and make sure that, like, he's good to go with me having the contrast and blah, blah, blah. Well, no. I called my doctor's office and he's like, no, don't do that. He's like, no, I ordered it without, so you need to do it without. And he was like, I will call, you know, their facility and I will talk to them myself. And if you have any problems, just call me back. But don't go forward with doing the contrast and barium, because from, you know, what my girlfriend said, and she's totally right, is that, you know, I have not been diagnosed with cancer before. I have been diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and rheumatoid arthritis can progress very quickly and aggressively to other diseases, especially if you're being treated with biologics. And so it's not a shock that I'm going in to be checked for something that could be a potential issue. But my girlfriend's like, you know, your doctor is sending you in for this CAT scan as a baseline. She's like, you don't need contrast up front and center if you're just getting a baseline. She's like, go in, get your original thing done, and then if he sees something in the CAT scan that could, you know, be a potential, you know, signal that you need to go in for more, whatever, then you do that. She said contrast is so bad for you. She said it can cause kidney failure and like other horrible things. And she said if you have a problem detoxifying, it's super bad for you. She's like, contrast like can make people go crazy. I don't need that. Thank you, B-Souls. Love you so freaking much. You're amazing, and thank you for loving me and for protecting me in that aspect. So I did call my doctor. They said no way. And then even when I got to the radiologist's office, they were like, oh no, like you need the contrast. I was like, no, I don't need it. I don't want it. No, don't want it. And so luckily I was able to go forward and have my CAT scan done without contrast and without barium. So super grateful for that. May have to go back and go through that process, but you know what? If I do, then at least I will know that we started without and I did what I could do without before progressing forward and putting my body in harm's way even further than it already has been, which we all know it's been a lot. I wanted to tell you guys too that I actually am not on any medication right now whatsoever. So crazy. So if you've seen my other videos, you know that I was abruptly cut off of my treatment that I was on for a year and a half by my old rheumatologist. Very wild, definitely fully illegal, and that's a whole other situation. But basically, he abruptly stopped my treatment, which was a biologic. You take it every day to prevent yourself from being crippled, essentially, and then I no longer had access to it. He would not fill it. He like literally cut me off. And every other person, like every other doctor I've talked to since then is like, that's insane. They're like, you know, one lady said to me recently, she's like, he didn't even give you a 90-day supply to hold you over until you see a new doctor. And I was like, nope, sure didn't. Yeah, I'm just like skating over here, but luckily I am actually feeling so much better. Like, I feel better right now than I did even while I was on my Rinvoq. I still have a lot of pain. I still am super inflamed in my middle finger. My right foot is hurting me, and like, but I'm literally functioning right now on Advil. Just Advil. That is a full-blown miracle. I don't want to be on these drugs. I was just on steroids. I told you guys about that process. Like, I was put on steroids by urgent care because if you have uncontrollable inflammation, you need something to control that inflammation. Otherwise, you could potentially suffer from major organ failure, or like something very serious, or have bone damage, or have cartilage damage, or like, you know, joint deformity. And then I was put on steroids. Steroids, I have a huge disdain for steroids, okay? I've been on them plenty of times. They're disgusting. They put you in a horrible mood. They make you gain weight. They kill your healthy stem cells, which is a huge red flag. Your stem cells are what keep you healthy. Your stem cells are what keep you looking young and fresh. And like, your stem cells basically are the construction workers of your body. They go in there and they clean you up whenever you have a broken bone, or, you know, if you have loss of synovial fluid, or joint damage, or tears, things of that nature. Stem cells go in there and they help to fix your body. So the fact that steroids kill your healthy stem cells, I recorded a video about this a few days ago, and I'm not using it because I looked a mess, and I was coming off of steroids. So I feel better right now on no medication than I did on my biologic, Rinvoq, and on steroids. I feel better now off of all of that than I did on it. So that's just very telling. Steroids also eat away at your spine, which is like not cool. I have been accepted into the Panama City, Panama Stem Cell Institute, which is a very well-renowned institution that I can post links in the description about this institute, and they've accepted me for the rheumatoid arthritis program like a year and a half ago. But the treatment is very, very expensive. It's about $25,000, so I'm not quite there yet to be able to go for that treatment, but I do know that one day I will get there, and I've literally dreamed about that moment. Like, I can't wait to be walking through the airport, like vlogging myself, like, I'm going to Panama. But, you know, when I was really, really sick right after having my son Sage, I was in conversations with the Stem Cell Institute about, you know, what are the next steps, what do I have to do in order to set myself up for success, essentially, with this treatment. And what they said is that if you are on steroids, go off of them as soon as possible. Steroids kill your healthy stem cells. If you were to ever have stem cell treatment in the future, you have a much less likely chance to have a successful outcome if you are taking steroids long term, because they kill your healthy stem cells, and therefore the stem cells that they are injecting into you, they will not stick, essentially, because stem cells that are being injected into you need to have working stem cells to replace. So not dead stem cells, damaged stem cells, working but damaged stem cells. If you have just dead stem cells floating around in you, there is no hope, essentially. So I made the executive decision to go off of the steroid 2 or 3 days ago, and you can already tell my face is starting to slim back down, so just not good. So super happy about that. And I'm feeling better, you know, still in pain, but managing with healthy diet and Advil and my salves. I actually have a salve in here, the pain relieving ointment. I can put a link in the description for the Tiger Balm. Do what's best for you. Listen to your doctor, but also listen to your own gut. And if something does not feel right, it's probably not. And there's nothing wrong with getting a second opinion. So okay, I am so grateful that I'm not on any medicine right now. I'm going to looking for a rheumatologist that will give me the go-ahead for IVIG, because I did actually just have an appointment with a rheumatologist, a new rheumatologist, and she was like, I don't prescribe that. And most people don't, and it's like, why? The last thing that I was gonna say is that this rheumatologist that I just went to see recently, when I brought up like the fact that I'm interested in IVIG, she immediately shut it down, just like my old rheumatologist immediately shut it down. You know, some people are just not open-minded, okay? But what I am here to tell you is that just because they are not open-minded does not mean that it's not an option for you. It also does not mean that it's not factual information and that it's not happening in other places over the world or in the country. So she was like, you know, yeah, no, I don't prescribe IVIG, you know, oh no, not for rheumatoid arthritis, you know. And I was like, oh no. She's like, no. And I was like, well, why not? Well, you have to like look for like certain, you know, factors to prescribe IVIG. Like, it's not for rheumatoid arthritis. And I said, well, there are places that are prescribing IVIG for rheumatoid arthritis. She said, not in the US. I said, okay, well, they are in Texas. I'll put a link in the description below for that. But, yeah, who knows? Who knows? I might end up having to travel to get what I want. But, like, it will be done.